Beautiful job. Got all the rails, the floors, cross members. Everything is soaked. Look at that. Stuff is soaked right in there. Good job. Really, really impressed. So folks, this is a 2018 Mazda CX-5. And as you can see, what I've done is I've actually removed all the panels from both sides of the vehicle that run all the way from the front to back, as well as the plastic shroud that covers the motor. This is done so that RustCheck, sorry, from Burlington could end up spraying the cross members and everything. And as you can see, they did a fantastic job. They covered everything, including the cross members, upper and lower control arms, right up into the frame. And the big important thing is these shrouds, which are put in, run the entire length of this car, and they cover up most of the floor in this large series of frame rails that runs from front to back, both on the driver's side and the passenger side. And you can see there's all these tubes and gas lines, brake lines. All of these are covered by a plastic shroud that you can't get into. And so by removing these and putting them over to RustCheck with this exposed, they were able to apply everything to it. So very happy with the work. You can see that everything's been hit. Everything's got product on it, and it's ready for the winter time. So these are the plastic shrouds I'm talking about. The top one on the top is the actual shroud that goes over the entire engine bay. Underneath covers up everything, including the cross members and portions of the upper and lower control arms. The ones underneath are the longer ones. You can see them there. These are the ones that are on both sides of the vehicle that cover up the entire floorboard area. Very simply, this can be removed by taking out clips and several, I believe it is, 10mm bolts. They're just like speed nuts. So basically what you do is you just pop off the bolts and nuts, keep all the clips in a container. I've actually got mine in a tray that I've kept. And then what you do is you just basically put them back in. It's self-explanatory. I can show you the tray here with the assorted nuts and clips and everything right there. So all you do is you just keep them. You can't mix it up. Certain size hole goes in for certain things, threaded hole for the bolts, and the non-threaded holes for the clips. And basically you just reinstall everything. Okay folks, actually what I'm going to show you is one of the shrouds on and one of them off. This is the passenger side over here. And what I've done is I've put all the bolts back in and the clips. I'm just going to show you them very quickly. The clips are just your standard plunger style clips. You can take them off using a flat screwdriver, and then to put them back, you just actually easily put them back in. Beside it is the actual 10mm bolts. There's a threaded hole for each of those. So like I said, when you're putting the panels back in, it's very easy to follow. Word of advice, make sure you don't tighten the bolts up first. Use the bolts to actually hold the shroud back up in place, and then put in all the plastic clips, making sure you can move the panel around to line it up with the holes. Once you've got all the fasteners in, then you can actually tighten everything up. So as you can see, that's the actual shroud on the one side already put in place. That's what it looks like without. And like I said, the people at RustCheck down in Burlington, a gentleman by the name of Charlie, did a fantastic job. That's in Burlington, Ontario, Canada. I would strongly recommend doing this for any SUV or Mazda product that has these shrouds in it. I would take the shrouds off before you take it down to get the rust proofing put in so that they can actually access everything. The guys did a fantastic job. Like I said, you can see the actual product on all the metal components, and I'm very happy with the results. I'll take one more video once I get all the rest of the shrouds on, just so you can see the entire car back in place, and we'll finish off there. Well folks, there's any mechanic's dream. When you put something back together after you take it apart, the nice thing is when you don't have any bolts or fasteners left. That means you haven't missed anything. And as I was talking to you before, there's the plastic shroud that I was speaking about. That's the one that covers the engine compartment and goes back to the cross member. You can now see I've got both sides back in place where the panels run along the floorboards. Everything's fastened in. I just have to tighten down the bolts. I'm going to start at the back on both sides and work my way forward so I don't miss anything, and then double check it. I should mention there is a couple of other fasteners in here, and I forgot to mention those. The plastic clips on the front with Mazda, and don't ask me why they did this, they've got two different ones. The ones on the back panels are a smaller plunger style that don't come apart. The ones on the plastic shroud at the front, you've got to be careful because the centerpiece actually pulls right out and you can drop it and lose it. As well, on the very front of the shrouds, for the plastic shroud on the engine compartment, there is several smaller screws on the front combined with the plungers. And those screws can actually be just taken out with a Phillips screwdriver. I wouldn't recommend using an impact gun. These are just screwed into clips that are up into the other side of the panel here. So that's the only other thing I wanted to mention. Otherwise, now I'm happy because this SUV is being completely undercoated, front to back, underneath the panels. I would suggest, if you can't do it yourself, get somebody to remove the panels for you before you take any of your SUVs. I don't think Mazda's the only one. My understanding is a lot of vehicles are going to this. My recommendation would be to take these panels off before you go into the rust proofing center so that you can make sure that your car gets covered from front to back. Again, this is because it's in salt and snow conditions up here in Ontario, Canada. But I would recommend this for anybody who's driving a vehicle and depending on it, and possibly knowing that they're going to keep it. This CX-5 that we've purchased is one that we know we're going to keep for a long time. We're not leasing it. So I'm doing preventive maintenance in regards to making sure it's looked after. Anyways, I hope you like this video. First one I've done in regards to maintenance on vehicles. I might try a couple with oil changes and stuff just to help do it yourselfers. I'm very well versed with Mazda and Chevy products. And Toyota. We have several vehicles here at home, and I do a lot of my own maintenance, so I'll probably try to do another video later on. Anyways, take care, have a good day.